Well, for more on this, we're joined now by Ulrich Brueckner. He's a professor of European Studies at Stanford University and joins us live now from Berlin. Ulrich, thank you yet again for your time. Unanimous call there from EU leaders against this Rafah offensive by Israel. On that, at least, they're all agreed.
Well, they do, and right from the start, it was clear that both sides have a point. Israel has the right to defend, as Josep Borrell, the High Representative for Common and Foreign Security Policy, just underlined. But everything Israel is doing on the ground has to be proportionate. And now that we see that this mounts up to a terrible humanitarian crisis, action is needed, and it's not enough to just speak with one voice, but actually to deliver, which is why Germany established an airlift and the European Union organized a transfer of ships and containers arriving from Cyprus at the shores of Gaza.
A warning, interesting to hear this warning of, or against, I should say, double standards too, when comparing Ukraine and Gaza.
Well, it is difficult to distinguish here because on the one hand, what is happening in Ukraine is an attack against the European Union and Western principles and the geopolitical situation in Europe. Russia attacks not just Ukraine on the ground and tries to steal a chunk of a neighboring country, but it is openly aggressive against Ukraine's choice to see its future in the European Union. This is a completely different situation, and countries that used to be part of the influential zone of the Soviet Union or have been Soviet republics are very afraid that they could be next if Ukraine loses the war. This is a very different situation compared with what is happening in the Middle East. No situation is comparable, but what also must be underlined is that every human life matters, and therefore no double standards in supporting human beings.
Yet more, staying with Ukraine, yet more missile attacks, this time at Kyiv overnight from Russia. That's prompted more calls from President Volodymyr Zelensky for more military aid from Western allies. EU leaders discussing yet again their continued support for Ukraine today.
Well, this is also very pressing. It's not comparable with the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza, but it is also clear that it doesn't help Ukraine if European Union leaders only meet from time to time and discuss whether someone is willing to do something. It has to be structurally addressed. And therefore, the discussion right now in the European Union's Council is whether the European Union should fill a fund to finance the support in a process that changes the rules of the European Union, which is not a state, and therefore it can't get indebted on the financial market. And a number of countries use this opportunity to change the rules, which in the long run would change the European Union, because if it has more financial firepower, it also has to increase its legitimacy, which transforms the bloc into something like a federal system with all the consequences for the sovereign states. So it's not just a trivial question of where should the money come from or can we get indebted, but it changes the nature of the European Union.
Ulrich, thank you very much for your time. Ulrich Brueckner speaking to us live from Berlin.
Thank you.